Then there's the argument that people are afraid that they're going to be deceived because they know that it looks a lot like the New Age, that they're afraid to reclaim the authentic because they consider the power of the counterfeit to be overwhelmingly deceiving. So the advice that is given here, that he gives, is to have more faith in the Lord's ability to keep you than the devil's ability to steal you away, and that you can never be snatched out of Jesus's hand. And he quotes John 10:28 for that as a defense. And what I would say to this is that if you're making the choice to do this out of his will, he will hand you over to it. I am literally proof of that. By this logic, why would I leave the New Age then? As someone who practiced New Age as a Christian, I technically wasn't doing anything wrong then. And there are many people that I know that practice New Age practices like tarot cards, astral travel, astrology, crystal energies, fill in the blank, and much more. And they call themselves Christians. And some even ask for God's protection and believe that they get it. They actually believe that Jesus protects them, yet they go beyond his warnings and boundaries. They disobey him. What's interesting is that we actually do this all the time in life, not just with New Age practices. Like, we know we shouldn't engage in certain activities, but we do it anyways, hoping God will protect us. So, okay, you want to mess around with sorcery? Make toxic life decisions? Invoke the dead? Align your chakras? Go right ahead, because God's got this. It just doesn't make any sense to me. Obedience is an act of worship and love for God, and it trumps experience every time. In 1 Corinthians chapter 8 and chapter 10, it speaks about food sacrificed to idols and whether it's appropriate to participate in eating food that was given to a false god. And one of Paul's many points is about not stumbling someone else by participating in this thing. And so that's just eating the food. Imagine practicing their religion. In chapter 10, Paul tells Christians that partaking in pagan practices provoked God to jealousy and caused them to participate in worship with demons. So when we fellowship with such things, this offends God. See, I think part of the deception is that if someone believes that it's impossible to be deceived, that God would never hand them a snake when they've asked for a fish, then it won't be a possibility for them in their mind that they've delved into some forbidden practices. They're too enamored with the experience to consider they've been deceived. Contacting the dead, witchcraft, crystal energy, manifestation, all of this can be done and is permissible and safe as long as we're Christians. It should be that because we're Christians, we shouldn't do this stuff. So if someone claims to be in right relationship with God, and if we're operating in realms and experiences outside of what's outlined in Scripture, then by definition, this means we're not in right relationship with God. And this is why I emphasize over and over again the importance of reading and studying Scripture.